Hello, everyone. Welcome to our webinar. I'm very excited to see you here. Please come say hello in the chat. Say hello, maybe say where you're joining from, or say something you're excited to learn today. And we're going to get started. Great to have you all here. Come say hi in the chat. This is an interactive webinar, so I do want you to interact with the chat, engage with the materials, talk to each other, and it's really great to see all of you here. Yes, nice to see you. Wonderful. Okay, how's everyone doing this morning, this afternoon, this evening, depending on where you're located? We're all in different time zones, right? Which is kind of cool. I love that we can come on here and, share this time together. So this would actually be a perfect time to silence your devices. This is an hour that we're setting aside for you. It's an investment in your professional development, your personal growth, and you're here to learn, right? So let's definitely silence the notifications. And I really do suggest not multitasking. So if you're watching this in your web browser, try not to be distracted with other things, right? Because that way we get the most out of it. All right. Well, I see some people typing in the chat. Come and say, where you're from or where you're joining from, or something about, what you're hoping to learn with this impromptu speaking webinar. And then I'm going to share my screen. So I do want you to chat. Say hello in the chat, because that's always a nice thing to do. And we're going to get started. Okay. Awesome. From Prague. You're waving from Prague. I love it. That's so cool. Welcome, welcome. That's great, Michael. Who else is here? Where else are you waving? Where were you waving from? I love that. Waving from something, somewhere. Hi, Adelis. How's it going? Well, listen, I'm excited you're here. I'm excited to share the content that I have in store for you. We're talking about impromptu speaking, which is something that is very challenging. This is advanced communication strategies. It's not only challenging for L2 non-native English speakers, but it's also challenging, equally as challenging, for L1 native English speakers. So the strategies that I'm going to share with you today are both for L1 native English speakers and L2 non-native English speakers. So we have people in our community who are non-native English speakers and native English speakers, and everyone's here for the professional development, to enrich themselves, to learn, to grow professionally and personally. So that's what we do here at the Academy. And I'm very happy that you're joining me for this, because this is definitely, all the topics we talk about here are important, but this is one of those things that if you can master impromptu speaking, you're going to feel like $1,000,000. You're never going to be afraid of somebody putting you on the spot, asking a question that you don't know how to respond to, or how do you engage with people, whether it be at a dinner table for dinner conversation, or in a cafe, or with your colleagues, or around the proverbial water cooler during break time, or talking to your boss, or talking at a networking event, or just chatting with some friends in a casual environment. So in all these different types of settings, we have different speech acts where we do need to be able to do impromptu speaking, right? This is extremely important for our professional lives as well as our personal lives. So that's kind of what the gist is with impromptu speaking. And I know that a lot of people are very nervous about it, and rightfully so, because you're put on the spot. You have to think on your feet. You have to come up with some response, cobbled together some response that hopefully is coherent, right, and clear, and go from there. So That's essentially what impromptu speaking is. So this is for, people who want to improve their thinking on their feet, speaking on their feet. We're here to provide you with these practical strategies that will help you communicate in a variety of speech acts and social situations and speaking contexts. And for those of you who don't know me, but I feel like most of you do by now, because we've been doing these webinars for a while, right? I'm Mary Daphne. I am co-founder and CEO of explearning and Advanced English, and I am head of community here at explearning Academy. And for those of you who don't know what explearning Academy is, I highly recommend you check it out at academy.explearning.co, because it's an amazing community filled with people from all over the world, native speakers, non-native English speakers, and here you're learning how to communicate effectively and how to put your best foot forward and how to level up professionally, working on polish and executive skills, and also socially reaching social fluency. There's no other community like ours. We're very unique, and this is a place where you're really going to master communication, right? Learning English is one thing. Mastering communication is the next level, right? So that's what we're here to do. And no one else is doing this. So you are in the right place. This is a unique value proposition for sure. All right. So in terms of my background, I have 2 masters. I've got a double master situation. So I have an EDM and advanced master's from Columbia University. You might have heard of it. It's in New York City. And I got another master's from Bhattacharya University. And my undergrad was in French and communication. I was a double major. And a little bit about my experience. At this point, nearly 2 decades in cross-cultural corporate communications, television, live broadcasting, education, technology, enhanced educational outcomes, things like that. And I've been teaching and designing courses in public speaking, in communication, in social skills, in English, and cross-cultural and business communications for 16 years. So that's really fun. And my emphasis is generally on technology, empirical research, science-backed research, data-backed teaching methodologies, so that we ensure high-value student outcomes, providing you the best of the best. I also do teacher training, meaning I teach teachers how to teach. There's a lot of teach in there, but that's what it is. And I've done this both in New York City at Columbia University, Baruch College, Hunter College, as well as abroad. I've lived in different places all over the world. And so I love navigating cross-cultural situations professionally and personally, and also teaching that too as well to you all. So that's something that's very important in this increasingly ever globalized society that we're living in. I also was a Fulbright grant recipient. So that was really cool, because that was the first foray into, being abroad in a professional capacity. And I had an amazing time during my Fulbright grant year. All right. So that's a little bit about me. Now let's talk about the Academy, because I get a lot of questions, a lot of emails, a lot of inbound messages. So what is it? Who are we? We are a professional development platform for the modern executive. We do daily activities, challenges, quizzes, quests, engagement in community. And also for those of you in our executive excellence or executive communication group coaching plan, we are a group coaching, we have a group coaching program, and we meet a couple times a week in small groups, which is wonderful. So you really get to master the content, master the strategies, engage with each other, make friends, network, practice your communication skills, overcome speaking anxiety and lack of confidence, and you start getting really confident. So it's an awesome way to practice your communication skills and overcome, anxiety and feelings of lacking confidence, right? We've got 2 amazing programs, the community and self-study program. So that's for a fully self-guided but fully supported journey. You've got the full community as well. So you got the web courses, the challenges, the activities, the weekly calendar, the daily event, the daily tasks, certain events that are open to the community. And you also get to run your own events too. We had a member run call on the weekend. So that was awesome. And more of these will be coming out as well. And then we got our group coaching and community, which is a separate program. So you get access to the community just like you would in the executive or in the Explearning Academy. And then in addition to that, you also get the meetings with me and with other group coaching members. So these are small groups. We get to practice a lot, talk a lot, laugh a lot, have so much fun, and learn. And we become, close, and it's really nice. So these are weekly calls with multiple times a week with me and other executive communication plan members where we hone, focus in on communication skills, executive skills, social skills, and we get, to share personalized feedback and have a really wonderful time. So who might the Explearning Academy plan be for? These are people who want to go at their own pace. They want to do the challenges. They want to do the web courses. They want to do everything at their own pace. And also, be supported along the way because we're there with you along the way, supporting you, cheering you on. You'll make friends as well. And you get daily tasks, exercises, weekly activities, courses, quizzes, challenges, web courses. I said challenges. That's perfect. And everything that you can do, on your own time. You can do them as they come out. Every day there's something to do. There's multiple things to do every day. Or you can do them on your own time. You say, okay, I see that this new lesson came out or this new quiz came out, but I'm going to do that on the weekend, or I'm going to do this tomorrow, right? So you can always decide. And you get to engage with community members. You get to make friends. You get to, work on your networking skills and network with people because these are professionals from around the world. Learn from each other. Have your own meetups, participate in live webinars, and just have an amazing experience, really. So much action going on, which is great, super great. And then for those of you who are interested in the group coaching plan and program, this is really for people who are serious about leveling up. Maybe it's you're getting ready to start a new job. Maybe you're moving to another country, like maybe an English-speaking country like Canada or the US or the UK, Australia, and you want to, polish your skills and you want to know how to interact socially and feel better about, your communication skills. Maybe, you're feeling a little isolated and you want to connect with people in a meaningful way because social media is not a really great way to connect with people. There's lots of research about this. So if you want a social media detox, but you want a community experience where you're making friends and connecting meaningfully with people, we're here for you. We're here for you. What else? We've got the weekly, the multiple times a week calls, small groups, really fun, cozy settings where we can chat and get to know each other, get a lot of personalized feedback and practice, overcome that fear of speaking, overcome the fear of communicating. It's just an incredible experience. And like I said, all the daily activities, the challenges, the quests, engagement, community, and the calls. So lots to do. Okay. So more on that later. You can always check out the information on our landing page at academy.explearning.co and go see for yourself, read the member testimonials so that you get to see, what our members are actually saying. These are their own words. And it's amazing to see, how excited they are about being in the community and how it's transformed their skills and their communication and boosted their confidence and so much more. So very cool. I love seeing that. Okay. So on a scale from 1 to 5, being 1, the least confident, where your confidence is the lowest, to 5, feeling the most confident, You feel really good about it. How do you feel about impromptu speaking? What's your rating for that? How do you feel about impromptu speaking? Which is being able to, speak on your feet, think on your feet. When somebody asks you, something, whether it be something, just about your everyday life or what you did on the weekend, you don't freeze, you don't freak out, you don't run away. And that's not an exaggeration, right? People do that. People do that. And we don't want you to be in that case. We want you to be confident, composed, cool, assertive. Like you own the place. You own the place. Okay. So what do we see? So it looks like 2. Okay. Yeah. I would have guessed something around that, because just ask the next person you see just randomly after this webinar, ask them, how do they feel about impromptu speaking? I guarantee you most people will say 2, 3, maybe even 1. Very few people are going to say, oh, 5. I feel like a 5 with, impromptu speaking. But it happens, right? We feel nervous to do this. You are putting yourself on the spot. You are feeling a little bit vulnerable, maybe a little bit out of place, and you want to give a good impression, right? That's the goal. All right, we've got a 4. Okay, nice. I like that. I like that. All right, so understanding impromptu speaking. Yeah, that's definitely something that we want to be able to know what it is, right? So what is it? It's the ability to deliver a speech or a presentation or a chat or an answer on the fly. On the fly, meaning no preparation. It's impromptu. You can think on your feet. You can organize your thoughts quickly. You have that mental outline, right? And you can deliver it in a clear, compelling, concise way to your audience. And again, that could be to one person, that could be to 5 people, that could be around a dinner table, that could be something as simple or something as actually big as, you're at an event and somebody turns to you and says, all right, you're going to give a toast right after this, meaning you're going to give a little speech. Can you give a toast? And you don't want to say no. You don't want to say no. This is an amazing opportunity. So you want to say yes. And now with this webinar, you're going to be prepared. You're going to be so prepared that you're going to be asking to do impromptu speaking. You will be seeking out opportunities. Okay, why is it so important for everyone, but especially professionals? Well, it's crucial, right? In our fast-paced business environment, things go fast, boom, boom, boom. I'm sure you've already accomplished, 10 things by today already, whether it's morning, evening, afternoon, whatever time it is for you. I'm sure you already accomplished something, whether that be a workout, your breakfast, a few calls, couple emails, maybe something even bigger. This allows you to communicate effectively and confidently in unexpected situations, because again, you don't know what people are going to ask you. Sure, you can anticipate, you can surmise, you can think about what people might ask you or have you speak about, but you're not going to be 100% certain. So we're entering the realm of the unknown, which is a cool place to be, in my opinion, right? It keeps things interesting. It gets us, to be a little bit more engaged, a little bit more, with it, because we have to be on the edge of our seats. We have to be engaged. We have to be thinking. So this is a great place to be. It also helps you to build your credibility, right? So if you're somebody who is an expert, you're a subject matter expert, or you're an expert in your industry, and people ask you, talk about this, what about that? What are your thoughts on XYZ? You can talk about it, right? You can speak to it. It allows you to establish trust with your audience and overall improve your communication skills. So we've got to learn, we've got to know how to do impromptu speaking. Do you agree? What do you think? Give me a thumbs up if you agree. If you agree with even just one of these statements, a thumbs up in the chat, or a yes, yeah, for sure in the chat. Drop it in the chat. Michael goes, yes, for sure, for sure. Okay, so what's impromptu speaking? We talked about that, right? Being able to be on your feet, think on your feet, no preparation, clear and concise message, right? It's clear and concise, and you know what you're talking about. Okay, so let's talk about common challenges, because look, there is overlap. We are human beings. I've heard the term recently in a meditation seminar, out of all places, human doings, right? We're constantly doing things. And if you're a go-getter, which I'm sure you are because you're here, you showed up, then you're constantly doing things, right? You're a human doing also. Okay, so some of the common challenges are, difficulty organizing your thoughts quickly. Like, how do you map it out in your mind? How do you do a mind map? How do you do a brainstorm? How do you prioritize the, most important things that you want to share? That's certainly very difficult. It can be daunting for both L1 English speakers and L2 English speakers, but we talked about this. Native speakers and non-native English speakers both have these types of challenges. We've also got, maybe lack of confidence in your speaking ability or your communication. You don't feel like you're, as confident as you want to be to convey your thoughts and express yourself. And maybe you feel like you're going to make too many mistakes. Maybe you don't know enough of the vocabulary you need to reflect your expertise or the phrases or the jargon in your industry, right? Maybe you recently made a career switch and you're still learning the lingo. Maybe there's, some lack of vocab or knowledge of idiomatic expressions. And again, native English speakers too, we're constantly, as a native English speaker, trying to build our vocabulary and our subject matter expertise. So this is why, everyone really does have these challenges. Some of the challenges unique to native English speakers could be sometimes overconfidence, believe it or not. Yeah, being so confident that you don't feel like you need to prepare. Have you ever been in this situation in your L1 language or your L2? Have you felt like, oh, I don't need to prepare? And then come time, the presentation or the talk or the seminar or the whatever you're giving, you're actually like, oh, maybe I should have taken some time to collect my thoughts. Has that happened to anyone? Because look, this can happen where you have this kind of like overconfidence, which again, that's a challenge. We don't want that to happen. We want to be confident, but not overly confident, right? There's a balance for sure. Maybe difficulty organizing thoughts, presenting them in a cohesive way, right? Do they make sense? Is there a logical flow? Is there enough evidence to support these claims? Are you giving examples? How coherent and cohesive is your argument? So this could be another challenge, right? And we're thinking about, let's just go back for a second here. So for non-native English speakers, it can be all of this plus all of this, right? Just the fear. There's a general fear or malaise of not expressing yourself well enough, right? Whether you're a native English speaker or a non-native English speaker. I've had clients from all over the world, native English speakers, non-native English speakers, and everyone wants to improve their communication. Everyone, right? And it's just a matter of when you recognize the need to improve your communication skills, right? So we're here to do that. So how can we handle nerves, right? So nerves are definitely a part of it. And once we are able to control our nerves and handle them, we're already, a good step of the way there. Because it comes down to mindset a lot of times, right? When we're put on the spot, when we have to think on our feet and then speak on our feet. And when somebody says, okay, you're going to give a speech right now, you're going to feel a little nervous. Or if they just ask you point blank, what do you think about blah, blah, blah? And you have to, put yourself out there. You're going to have these nerves, right? Fear of making mistakes, for sure. Having those nerves. What do you do about it? Lack of preparation. You didn't prepare. You have no idea what to say, what you're going to talk about. And this is why that anticipation factor is very important, because let's say you're going to a networking event. You want to anticipate people asking you, so what do you do for a living? Or what brings you here? Or what do you do? Tell me about your, business or whatever. So being able to at least anticipate. And then we've also got, this pressure to perform, right? How do we put our best foot forward, right? Does anybody ever feel that pressure to perform and feel like that anxiety when they're put on the spot? I'm sure many of you, right? Lots of people out there. Then there's unfamiliarity with the topic. Maybe you don't know this topic very well. You don't have subject matter expertise in a certain area that people are asking you or expecting you to know about. That can happen too. Or maybe you're self-conscious, right, about how you sound. Maybe you don't like your tone of voice. Maybe you don't like your voice. Maybe you don't feel like you like your accent or your pronunciation. That can also play into this. And you know what I say? Be proud of your accent. It shows that you know more than one language. It's amazing that it makes you unique. And we all have an accent. Everybody speaks differently, really, right? So the focus is not, oh, do I have an accent? Oh, do I not have an accent? It's do people understand me? Am I being intelligible, right? Can people understand me? That's the goal, right? Am I able to communicate my thoughts? So that's the goal. All right. So when we think about nerves and anxiety, it's really, really beneficial to think about what's the root cause, right? Anxiety is one of those things that is completely, it's a common experience for many people. You'll ask anybody on the street, oh, do you feel anxious when speaking? Do you feel anxious during social interaction? What about public speaking? They're going to say, yeah, for sure. Especially when it comes to public speaking, right? That can be a major trigger for people. So some of the triggers are public speaking. Then there's maybe meeting new people, right? At a networking event, at a meetup, at a friend's party, at a holiday party, at a karaoke event, at a lunch meeting, at a business meeting, whatever. Deadlines, right? Just having that looming over you, like, oh, okay, that thing's due next week, or, oh, I got to have that thing due tomorrow, right? Whatever it is. So deadlines for sure. And then maybe even conflict with coworkers. So you might feel like, you don't know how to interact in a way that's going to be low conflict. Some people are like that, right? Some people are naturally on the more combative side. And part of the work we do is, communication styles and honing your communication and your authenticity in the academy. So we do it all. And look, this is something that a lot of people face, right? Everybody has some type of, I wouldn't go so far as to say maybe a social anxiety, but there's always something that we would prefer to do less of, right? In a social interaction, whether it's like on the phone, like maybe you don't like phone calls, maybe you don't like public speaking, maybe you don't like email. That's a type of communication. Maybe you don't like giving talks. Maybe you don't like meeting one-on-one. Maybe you don't like group social interaction settings, right? So everybody has something. It's just a matter of knowing what a common trigger is, or a trigger is for you. Do you have a top trigger here for what would be social anxiety inducing? Feel free to share it in the chat. Is it public speaking? Is it meeting new people? Is it the deadlines? Is it co-work conflicts? Is it something else that's not listed here? What is an anxiety trigger for you? Type that in the chat. What do you think? Yeah. Public speaking and deadlines for sure. Good. Job interviews. Yeah, that's one that's not on here. And that's a really big one, right? If you're in the community, check out the Pedro, you're in our community. Check that out. The interview, I think I mentioned it to you. Check out the interview prep web courses. Those are going to come really in handy. I know you're doing interviews right now. Check those out, my friend. Okay, good. Yeah, for sure. There's so many, right? We do speech acts all day, every day. We interact with people, whether it's in person, whether it's online. We're interacting here, right? And it can be an anxious experience. So we want to know what it is that makes us anxious and then be able to identify them and then figure out, what can we do to at least mitigate the effects of that anxiety. So here are some of the common ones. And we're going to talk about how to combat those. How do you, first of all, get in the mindset, right, of being in a place where, okay, I'm ready to face these nerves. I'm ready to look at them straight in the eye and say, I'm a little bit afraid, I'm a little bit scared, but I'm going to do this thing anyway, right? We actually talked about this. We did a whole fear setting group coaching session in our group coaching program last week. And it was so amazing, the work to do, figuring out like fear setting. So that was great. For those of you in our community, you can definitely check out the replay of that and all the materials associated with it. That was a big one. It's definitely, a transformative experience to look at the fear and say, okay, I know you're here. I'm not going to let this destabilize me or debilitate me. I'm going to do it anyway. That's kind of like with public speaking too, or impromptu speaking. So that's trainable, right? You can absolutely train this out of you. And that's a lot of the work that we do in our community and our group coaching sessions. It's all about practice. So some things are, deep breathing, right? We have to breathe. Sometimes we forget. Taking a few calming, grounding breaths can be really great to center yourself. You can do all sorts of ones, like the box method. You can do the longer exhale where, like, let's say you breathe in for 4 counts, you hold, and then you exhale for 8 counts. Like you double the exhale, so many things. There's also positive self-talk, right? If you pay attention to the language you're using when you're in a spiral, right? Of a negative spiral, you're probably saying mean things to yourself, if I had to guess, right? So if you flip it and you start talking in a positive way, that can be revolutionary. So we've got those, and then we've got visualization, right? Imagine you're giving a successful talk. You are calm. You're networking in a really confident way. You're answering questions. You're speaking on the spot. You're thinking on the spot and on your feet. And you're just really confident about that. Imagine that, right? This can help boost your confidence and reduce your nerves. And then the other one I really love is the power pose. Dr. Amy Cuddy talks a lot about this in her research. And you should definitely check out the TED Talk on it. We talked about it in our community as well. Something that is really helpful, these power poses. It sends that signal to your brain that you're actually feeling confident, more confident than you had anticipated, which is great. Okay, calming nerves. So what do we think about calming nerves? Is this something that you would approach proactively? Or would you say more like, oh, well, I know there's so many things I could do, but I'm too lazy to do them, or I'm not confident enough to practice these strategies. What's your mindset with this here? Are you excited to be faced with a situation where you have to, work on calming your nerves and then work on it accordingly and practice and think about how it's something as simple as calming your nerves to get to that next level? So what are your thoughts? Share that with me in the chat. One of the things we can also do is have a very clear structure. So calming your nerves is also about preparation and thinking about the clarity of your structure. So this is an extremely important way of calming your nerves, right? You have a clear structure in mind because it can help you stay focused. It can help you know what to talk about next, feel organized, and also be more confident in the way you deliver your message. And again, it could be anything from a speech to a toast, to a talk, to your elevator pitch, to a job interview, to water cooler chatter around the water cooler, to lunch meetings or coffee chatter, whatever it is, right? And then brainstorming your thoughts. So even though you might not have prepared, you've maybe anticipated what people can ask you, and you have some sort of understanding of, well, if I'm going to a casual social event, I'm probably not going to talk too much about work. If I'm going to an interview, I'm probably going to talk a lot about work and my experience. If I'm going to a networking event, it's going to be, maybe my elevator pitch, what do you do for a living? So it really depends, what kind of environment you're talking in, right? And so when maybe you're given a topic, not ahead of time necessarily. Maybe, somebody turns to you and says, okay, it'd be great if you can talk about your company, in 5 minutes to everybody. How do you do that, right? Or it could be, you're just put on the spot. Somebody hands you a microphone and says, okay, can you share a couple thoughts? Or one of our members said, our group coaching members said that they have a lot of like holiday events coming up at work, and people are expected to talk about, certain things, reflections, talk about, maybe how the company or the institution has grown, or, some remarks that they want to share. So people are expected, there's a lot of opportunity for impromptu speaking at work during the holidays. So this is something that you're definitely going to encounter for sure. But when you think about, okay, brainstorming, you want to think about the intro, the body, and the conclusion, because this is a great roadmap for you to think about, okay, how am I going to open? Like, what's my hook? How's my intro? Then what am I going to say? What's the meat of the topic, right? The body. And then what's the conclusion? How am I going to wrap this up? So I'm going to show you some frameworks for this, because frameworks are key. Frameworks, you don't want to use them as a crutch, but you want to use them as some, ammunition kind of, right? You've got the tools in your toolkit. You've got the tools in your toolkit. You're not left without any tools. You've got them. So the other thing, when you're nervous, recognize that there's a human in front of you, right? They are human. Humans are not perfect. They come with faults. We are not perfect. So let go of this idea of I have to be perfect. The person I'm talking to is perfect. Let that go. That's a silly notion to have. That doesn't do anything for us. No, we're human. We make mistakes. So what? It happens. Who cares? As long as we learn from it, who cares? Whatever. We make mistakes. We grow. We learn. It's not the end of the world, right? So the other thing is, you recognize that, you get into that mindset, and then you connect, right, with the audience. So make eye contact, smile, look into people's eyes, ask them their name, ask them how they're doing. You'll feel more confident and in control. And if you're somebody who likes to weave in storytelling, you just do this naturally, do that. If you pepper your chat or your talk with humor, do that. If that comes naturally to you, do it. Do it, because that's a great way of connecting as well. If it doesn't come naturally to you, don't force it. Or you can come into our community and learn those things. Learn how to, bring your personality in. Learn how to use humor in a respectful and nice and fun way. Learn how to do storytelling. We teach all that in our community. So that could be something where you are like, oh, wow, this is amazing. I had no idea I was capable of that, or that something like this existed. So that's definitely sure. And then, of course, breathe, right? We got to breathe. We have to, like I said, people forget. Okay. So these deep breathing techniques during your talk, don't forget to breathe, right? And this is something that, people they're not going to notice if you're taking extra deep breaths, right? As long as you're not like, right, like really obvious about it, which we don't do. But, if you're breathing and you're just showing that you're really centered and calm, that's fine. Or you can just do this privately for a little bit, just do some meditation. That could also work before you, are going up on stage, or going into that meeting, or going into that interview, or the coffee chat, or the networking event, whatever it is, right? Don't forget to breathe. Okay. We've covered already a lot of territory, but I want to show you now some frameworks. Like I said, frameworks are great to have. You don't want to use them as a crutch, but you do want to use them to help empower you, right? So these are your tools that you're going to need. And you always tweak them, right? You make them, you tailor them to your situation. And part of what's so powerful about our group coaching program is that we take these strategies and we tailor them to you and your unique situation. So we practice them and we get feedback on how they're going, because everyone's going to be using them slightly differently depending on your situation, right? We all have different jobs. We all have different communication styles. We have different ways of expressing ourselves. So just seeing a strategy and then trying to figure it out on your own might be more challenging. But what's amazing is that you have this opportunity to come into our community, become a member of our group coaching program, and then get these tailor-made for you, right? Use them and practice them and have the frameworks and understand how to implement them in your social interaction and in your executive communication and in your interpersonal interactions. So structuring our thoughts, I'm going to share 2 frameworks with you today. We've got the PREP technique. Okay, easy to remember, PREP. So it's the simple structure that adds, so it gives you some structure and it helps you to quickly organize your thoughts, right? Because when we're doing an impromptu speaking, we're in an impromptu speaking situation, it's not like we have that much time. We don't have time. This is impromptu. We're expected to cobble together some cohesive, coherent response in a confident way. That's a tall order, right? It's nerve-wracking. For anyone who's done it, it's nerve-wracking. But this technique is really great because you've got the point, right? State your main point or your argument or whatever you want to say. Then you say the reason, right? Why do you believe that? Why are you saying that? Why do you believe that? Okay. And then you give an example to support your reason. And then you circle back to the point, right? You reiterate it. You don't have to say it the same exact way. In fact, I would advise against that because you don't want to sound like you're repeating yourself if you said it exactly the same way as you said the first point, but you want to reiterate it, maybe paraphrase it, maybe say it in a slightly different way, but you're driving home that point. Right? So this is extremely helpful when you're expected to say something impromptu. And again, it could be anywhere from like a social event, a social situation, this is social fluency, to, you're talking to your boss, you're in an interview, you're at a networking event, you're meeting with a client, you're trying to secure a client, whatever. So let's imagine the topic is remote work is beneficial for productivity. Let's say this is the topic that you are asked to speak about. Maybe you guys are doing a meeting, right? And somebody says, okay, well, you know a lot about remote work and the benefits. Can you speak to this? Matthew, can you speak to this? This topic real quick. Remote work is beneficial for productivity. And guess what? Matthew can do that because he has the PREP framework. He has the PREP framework. So Matthew is going to think, okay, point. What's my point? Well, we know the topic. How do I feel about it? Let's say Matthew says, I firmly believe that remote work significantly enhances employee productivity. Boom, right? Simple as that. Okay, point. Done with that one. Then we move on to reason. Why? Why did you say that, Matthew? Why do you think that? Okay, well, this is because remote work allows employees to create a personalized and distraction-free environment, which is often not possible in a traditional office setting. Okay, got our reason. Next, then we've got example. Okay, this you don't want to leave out. Don't leave out any of this. It's just 4 letters, PREP, 4, okay? For instance, a recent study by Stanford University, again, reputable institution, found that employees working from home showed a productivity boost equivalent to a full day's work each week. Additionally, in my own experience, I've noticed that without the typical office interruptions, my focus and output have dramatically improved. Okay, so you've got an anecdotal evidence in my experience, but then also, research. Back it up with science, with data. with longitudinal studies, whatever. Okay. But you want to add that example for sure. And then we circle back, right? Therefore, to sum it up, in conclusion, right? Considering both empirical evidence, right? We got that study from Stanford, empirical evidence and personal experience, it's clear that remote work can be a powerful tool for increasing productivity. Boom. Matthew got the prep. Matthew prepped. He thought about that. Bam. He put it out there to the world. Incredible. Okay. Then we've got the CAR method. So you introduce the context. So context, what's the background info for your message? What information must the listener have in order to understand? Then the action, right? What's the action? What are the steps that you took in response to the context? And then result, explain what happened. What's the result of your action? What was the outcome? Okay, what does this look like in practice? So this is another framework. Okay, let's say it's implementing a new team communication strategy. So, okay, you're out at you're having a pizza party for, your team. And then your boss comes in and say, oh, what are you guys doing? And then you say, oh yeah, we just wrapped on a new, we just launched something and blah, blah, blah. We have our MVP and we're super excited and we launched our new product, or we just rolled out some new software, whatever you're celebrating. Okay. Then they say to you, okay, well, can you actually, I would love for you to speak about to your team implementing a new team communication strategy, because maybe you've talked about that. And now your boss or your manager wants you to share that with your team. You're not going to say no. You're not going to say no. Remember, we want to show ourselves as credible. We're confident. We know what we're talking about. We might be an expert in our field. You never know. So you want to say yes, and you can think about the CAR method. So let's say that topic, right? Your boss is saying, okay, tell the team about implementing a new team communication strategy. You might say, okay, look, last year our team was facing significant challenges with internal communications. Misunderstandings were frequent, and this was leading to delays and reduced morale, right? So you give them the background. You say, okay, this is not coming out of left field. Yes, we're having a fun pizza party, but let me tell you about our new implementation here. Okay, so you give them the background. Then you talk about the result, right? We missed one. The action. What would the action be? So does anyone have an idea? Well, we could say something like, we are going to implement this kind of software, or that's why we're rolling out, this new program, right? Or this is why we're doing this. We're going to start using this type of, app, or we're going to use Slack messages. We're going to communicate in this way, right? We're going to try this thing. And then after you talk about what action it is, right? What do you want people to do? Is it an app? Is it a software? Is it a team huddle? Maybe you're having like a scrum. What is it? What are you doing? What's the action? Maybe there's several. And then you give the result, right? So as a result of all these things that we're doing, because there might be one, there might be several, our team's efficiency improved dramatically. And within a few months, we saw a 40% reduction in product delays or project delays, could be both, and a noticeable increase in team satisfaction. Our experience shows how effective communication strategies can transform team dynamics and productivity. Okay, so that's the CAR. That's the CAR method. Similar to prep, right? Again, these are designed to help you think on your feet. So that's really great. Okay, so with structure, you really want to think about, okay, start with something that's going to grab people's attention. What's your hook? How are you going to, engage them? Okay, then you want to think about what are your main points? Do you have any evidence? Do you have anything to show for it? And then think about transitions too, right? Just, how can you use certain discourse markers or lead the audience to the next point? And then end with like a strong conclusion, right? As best you can. Come up with something that really packs a punch, leaves a lasting impression on them. Try to circle back to your first point, right? So it comes full circle. And there you have it. right? It's really incredible the power of these kinds of frameworks and how you implement them. So we're going to do 5 more frameworks that I'm going to share. We're going to talk about the STAR method. We're going to talk about the PEP formula. We're going to talk about the FAB technique, the 3-step method, and the 5 W's and H. And we're going to do that in our group coaching session on Wednesday. So for those of you in the community, you have this to look forward to. There's a lot of strategies out there, and it's really important to be able to know how to implement them, to know how to use them, and to know how they relate to you. Because I could have one member, use the STAR method one way for one type of situation, and another member use the method in a totally different way. So we get to talk about this. We get to work through the kinks and the, all the different understanding how they all piece together and how they work. We're also going to do some advanced tips and techniques, how you deal with maybe cultural differences. How do you work on various communication styles? So many things that we're going to address. And again, we're going to talk about this on Wednesday, the 29th. And we're also going to talk about how do you adapt to different audiences, because it's not a one size fits all. Sure, there's a great framework. There are several great frameworks, but you have to adapt those based on your audience, right? You talk differently to a group of friends at, a Friday karaoke party, differently from, the way you interact with your boss, differently from how you talk to your childhood friends, differently from how you talk to, your children's friends at school or wherever, right? So we all have to think about how we tailor to the audience. So this is something that, is very important always in communication in general, and especially here, how it pertains to impromptu speaking. So we're going to talk about all of that. We're going to practice it in our group coaching session on Wednesday. It's a great way to know how to, succeed, right? So knowing that we tailor our message to our audience based on their interests, based on how they are receptive to certain things and not receptive to others, what resonates with them, why they should listen to this, why they should care, maybe certain communication styles, all that jazz. We cover it. So like I said, this will be on Wednesday, November 29th. I'm really excited to build on it, because we've talked about impromptu speaking before. There's so much we can talk about. And this is another, basically another deep dive, you could think of it as. So hopefully I'll see some of you there. That'll be super fun. So next steps. Yeah, let's talk about next steps. Well, we've got our 33-day executive excellence challenge. This is for people who want to elevate their leadership, master communication, increase confidence. It's really fun. Here we have, I'm going to try to make this bigger actually. So Mireya is one of our members, and she said that, a significant moment of growth, because there's a section there where, we want you to reflect and think about how far you've come. So she completed the challenge, which is amazing. And she said that, during the challenge, each time we had a group discussion. She's talking about the group coaching sessions, facing my fears when working on a challenge and learning to accept that feeling of that uncomfortable feeling, right? When putting something new into practice, some of the challenges were part of growing as a communicator, right? So it was like, how do you grow as a communicator? How do you face your fears? How do you interact? How do you tailor your message to your audience? All of that. And then I love what she said here. She said, being part of this wonderful community made it possible for me to practice in a safe environment, making it easier to put them into practice outside the community, the new skill learned, right? So you first practice it in a risk-free environment. You get the feedback, you feel more confident about it, and then you're able to take it out into the world, right? Try it out, do it there as well, right? So first it's here with us. We practice and practice and practice, and then you feel so much more confident. You can make the mistakes in our calls, in our community, and that's great. That's what we want to do. And she said, definitely making time to practice every day was very rewarding, for sure. So that's great. And then one of the questions was, how do you feel your communication skills have improved over these last 33 days? And she says, my communication skills have improved tremendously over the last 33 days. I feel more confident when conversing and less anxious when communicating with others. I'm more conscious of the importance of the listening skill and follow-up questions in order to have meaningful conversations. So yeah, I love that. I love that she shared that, because that's the thing, right? Those are some of the results you'll get after you complete the challenge. And already during the challenge, I know people are doing it still, which is great. We still have, and we have more challenges coming up, which I'm really excited to announce. I won't announce them just yet, but those are coming up. And this gives you an opportunity to see that growth, to feel it, right? You feel more confident, you know that you're learning and growing, and then be able to, use it. It's such an amazing sensation. Mireya also said she encourages all of the members of the community to engage and participate in the challenge. There's so much valuable content at our fingertips, and all the strategies and skills we've learned in this challenge and in the community are designed to help us grow as communicators. I thought that was really thoughtful too, so I wanted to include it. Again, great thoughts from one of our members. I love it when members share their thoughts and their feedback. And it just really goes to show that it's not just me saying this, it's the members who feel this way, right? It really deeply resonates, and it helps a lot. They're in a good place with their skills, with their development, with their professional development and personal growth. So we've got our amazing community, and one of them is this Executive Excellence Challenge. You'll find all the challenges here, which is super great. You'll find web courses, and the list goes on and on. I don't know if you can see where I'm pointing. There we go. Now you can see where I'm pointing, right? So as soon as you walk into the community, you're prompted to a start here. We talk you through how to begin your adventure. Then you can later watch a welcome tour. It guides you through how to go through it, what to expect, what to see. There's so much in our community, which is amazing. I'm really proud of it, because it's a culmination of years and years and years and years of research and practice and clinical work and everything that goes into this. So that's great. And then technology, as technology evolves, guess what? We're leveraging that. And then we've got different spaces here, as you can see, right? Can you still see that where I'm pointing? Maybe. All these things. So it's really, really spectacular. So do you feel like you have, you're lacking professional polish? Like, you might know, maybe your subject matter, but you're not really confident, and you don't feel like you have that executive presence, or you don't have that assertiveness, or you don't have the confidence, or you don't have the professional polish, or all of everything in between. Totally understandable. I mean, they don't teach this in school, I'll tell you that. Right? Maybe, you're skilled at a lot of things, but something's missing. Maybe you're struggling with authenticity. Like, you've got the creds, you've got the credentials, but you're stuck playing a role. You're kind of like a cookie cutter of somebody else. You're a version of somebody, or a thought of somebody. And you don't want to do that anymore. You want to break free from that mold and show your authentic self. Because we're all different types of modern executives, and we shouldn't be expected or feel like we have to copy somebody or be like them. We're going to be ourselves, right? I'm different, you're different, but we're all here together to learn, and we don't have to be like each other, right? We don't have to communicate the same way, but we do have to do our best. We do have to put our best foot forward and show up in a way that's authentic to us, right? Do we feel like we have social anxiety and lacking confidence? Maybe you're not alone. So many people, I'm telling you, the next person you talk to after this webinar, ask them, do you have social anxiety? Are you afraid of public speaking? What are some of the, scary communication situations that you face? Everybody will tell you something. I guarantee it. We all have something like that. So maybe you want to navigate social scenarios with ease. You want to feel confident in the workplace. You want to feel confident talking to people anywhere, anytime, from any, background, whether it's native English speakers, non-native English speakers, talking to people from your own hometown in a different language. Maybe it's English. wherever, right? It could be impromptu speaking that you're trying to do. It could be overcoming stage fright. It could be those job interviews. It could be doing your elevator pitch. The list goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. So we help you become a modern executive. Yes, we do. We absolutely do. And I love it. I think it's amazing. I love having you all here. I love the way we interact in the community. It honestly like brightens my day. It makes me so happy to see the community engagement, to see all of you growing and learning, and we're doing it together and learning from each other. It's just such an amazing experience. I love it. I love that we're all connected and we have all these overlapping themes, right, in our lives. And there's something that unifies us, which is our humanity and our quest to become a better version of ourselves. We're lifelong learners. We're go-getters. We're not afraid to make mistakes. We're trying to be better than we were yesterday. We're not competing with other people. We're looking within and saying, okay, I'm going to be better than I was yesterday or last week or last year, and leveling up, right? We're leveling up. I love that. Okay. Practice makes perfect. Practice makes progress. It makes all of that. We've got these live community calls with members. I hope to see you on Wednesday. That would be super fun. We're going to practice impromptu speaking with different frameworks, simulations, and we're going to practice and we're going to get feedback, connect with each other. It's amazing. So who is this challenge for? So this challenge is available to anybody who is on either paid plan, so the Executive Communication Lab group coaching plan, or the explearning Academy plan, which is a self-study community plan. So you could be an entrepreneur growing your business, a freelancer pitching clients. You might be a work from home executive managing remote teams and driving change in your organization. You're a modern executive. Alternatively, you could be in between jobs. You could be looking for a new career. You could be switching careers. You could be moving to a new country. You could be starting something brand new. You could be working on your side hustle. You could be doing multiple side hustles. You're a modern executive. You're a modern executive. So it's for the modern executive, it's more than just a career boost, but for success, time and time again. Our world is changing. We are an ever-changing global landscape and society. So being able to adapt, to do it authentically and effectively, engage effectively in communication, right? These are not just fun little buzzwords that you might see as hashtags or, fun marketing. These are real. These are must-haves. These empower you to go after those challenges head on, look at them in the eye and say, yeah, this is hard. I'm going to do it anyway. There was something hard for me that I had to do today and I did it. And I was like, I'm going to do that hard thing. And guess what? I was so happy I did. We all do hard things. And you know what? We're able to navigate complex challenges. It's about showing up for ourselves and showing. There's a fitness trainer that I really like, and she has this expression like show up and show out. So it's like you're showing up for yourself and you're showing out, not showing off, but like showing out. This is kind of like a term she made up, but I really like that. It like resonates, right? Where you're showing up and you're doing it. You're doing all the things. You're fostering meaningful connections. You're leading with integrity. You're showing up as a better parent, as a better friend, as a better sibling, as a better boss, as a better, side hustler, as a better entrepreneur, whatever it is, you're showing up. So in the membership, you'll get self-paced web courses, challenges, live video calls if you're in the group coaching plan, live webinars. We've got the monthly challenges. We've got a global professional community, speaking opportunities, daily professional development, and we've got weekly calendars. So there's something every day to do. Super fun. And if you join now, you're going to get real-time feedback. You're going to get a small group coaching experience in our group coaching program. You're going to get exclusive communication strategies that you're not going to find anywhere else. And we get to master the nuances of communication, of which there are many. Navigating cross-cultural, intercultural communication, subcultures, understanding all the intricacies and nuance of language and culture and everything in between, because that's what makes up communication, right? Mindset. We do lots of mindset work as well. So we have the intrapersonal communication, the self-talk, all the inner monologues that we have all day with ourselves, and also the interpersonal communication with other people, right? That's the social interaction. That's where the social fluency comes in. Social fluency is a term that we kind of coined, and it really speaks to being able to speak with confidence in any type of social situation, whether it be, casual settings or workplace events and settings, knowing how to code switch, knowing how to switch between registers, knowing how to tailor your communication to the audience, knowing what's going to resonate with whom. So it's amazing. So here again, we have it. And when you are a member, you can also download our app for free. And so we've got an app. You can use it on your tablet, on your any device. You the web browser version. The phone is really fun to check in on the go. I like to say, it's a great way to, when you have these transition moments throughout your day, you're switching from one activity to another, or maybe you have a commute. Maybe you're on the bus or on the subway, and you go and do a lesson, go and communicate with someone, go and chat in the forum, do a group chat, message one of the members, participate in a call, whatever it is. You can do all that from your devices, which is great. Okay, so again, to recap, because I know some people just joined after I mentioned this part at the beginning. This is the Explearning Academy plan, which is a fully self-guided and fully supported journey. And if that's what you want, where it's self-paced and you can do things as you go by, that's the plan. No, that's not what the group coaching calls. That's the community and the platform. Then I would suggest you do the Explearning Academy plan for sure. If you want something more, if you're really, really just tired of you not having the communication skills, or not having the confidence, or not feeling like you communicate as well as you could be, and you really want to level up professionally. Maybe you're starting a new job. Maybe you're moving to a new country. Maybe you're ready to take the reins and be an entrepreneur, and you really want your professional polish. Maybe you really want the interaction. You want to connect meaningfully with people. Maybe you feel socially isolated. If it's all of the above, or even just one or two of those things, then the Explearning Academy, the Executive Communication Lab plan, the group coaching plan, this is really for you, right? We do the weekly live calls where everyone's on camera, and we hone our communication skills, and we practice, and we get tailored feedback and advice, and we share knowledge and content and work on these things together. This plan is the best way to build your network and get the most out of what our community has to offer. We have really terrific members, and you're going to love everybody in it. And they're really very welcoming and engaging. And honestly, I couldn't ask for better members. They're amazing. You do get an amazing opportunity to try a 1-week free trial. So this would be your opportunity, depending on what plan you are on. If you join the group coaching plan, you can come and join our live calls where we're all on camera, right? Different from a webinar. Those are the group coaching calls. And if you join the Explearning Academy plan, you can try you can go into the community, you can talk to people, you can do our different challenges and web courses and quests and quizzes, and engage with all the material. There's so much material. So what do people have to say? Well, let's see what people have to say. These member testimonials are important because they really do give you a glimpse into what real people, real members have to say. Because of course I'm passionate about it. This is something that I created for you. But to see the members equally, if not more passionate, that's incredible. So Simon says, I joined Explearning Academy just 2 months ago, and I'm absolutely amazed by the progress I've achieved in refining my workplace skills and boosting my confidence in starting conversations within the English-speaking community. Attending every live session and actively practicing real communication skills has not only enhanced my English proficiency, but has also been invaluable for improving my overall communication abilities. I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to our teacher, Mary Daphne, for her guidance and support. Having incredibly knowledgeable instructors who encourage you to seize opportunities has been the golden key that explearning Academy has provided me. I wholeheartedly recommend explearning Academy to anyone seeking success in today's fast-paced world. Really beautifully said, Simon. Okay, then we've got Mireya. She says, best investment. You won't regret it. And she said, I'm forever grateful to Mary Daphne for creating such a caring human connector platform. I love that. That's so creatively said, in which we learn and practice to effectively communicate with others. We are on a quest to become not only a better, professional and communicator, but a better human. And what I love about this comment that Mireya shared is that it really emphasizes, interacting with people, interacting with humans, knowing how to care and communicate empathetically and connect in a meaningful way with each other. So huge, so huge. And we do it here. Marco says, I've enrolled in the executive program. He's talking about the Executive Communication Lab group coaching program. It's a mouthful, I know. It has been a true treasure to join this program of skills improvement. It's very well made with a lot of features that are useful to train and empower skills for professionals at the highest level. Thank you very much for all this. It's for sure worth the investment. So thank you very much once again for everything. That was very thoughtful as well. Great to see that he's enjoying the executive communication program. Throughout most of my life, I've battled social anxiety. So this is from Sada. And I really like this one because it highlights that social anxiety aspect that so many people have. She's not alone. Most people have some sort of, an area where they're lacking confidence, right? Joining the Explearning Academy has empowered me to overcome my fears and shut down my BS. Yes. Each baby step in the supportive community, in the supportive environment has been transformative, boosting my confidence in both personal and professional interactions. She hit the nail on the head with this, right? The social anxiety, overcoming that, shut down her own fears and the BS, and then taking these baby steps, incremental change, confidence increases, not only in her personal life, but in her professional life. Very well said. And then Saval says, both Mary Daphne and all the members of the community are so sweet and smiling that you never get bored. You don't understand how time flies. With this community, I had the opportunity to improve my communication skills as well as my language. I have the opportunity to see and correct my mistakes with frequent community meetings. That's right. Helder says, I had to give a presentation at work and I used the tips I learned from the community and everyone loved it. This community is different because it's not just about learning English, but it also focuses on practical communication skills and real life situations. Absolutely. This is a place where, yes, you're going to improve your English because by force of what we do in English, but you're also going to improve your communication skills and your professional skills and develop a growth mindset and use these strategies, these communication strategies, not only in English, but also in your L1. And this is an example of that too, right? He used these strategies for work and everybody loved them. And then Raquel says, I don't get to use English in my daily life, so I find it very enriching to have the opportunity to exchange with people from different countries and to learn about their customs and opinions on current affairs, right? There's that connection factor as well. And this is very, common where you're practicing your communication skills in English and you want to develop those, but because of where you are located at the time, you're not able to, do it at work or speak it, in your social life. We also have a lot of people who work in English speaking environments where, they really want to show up and learn and improve their communication skills. We have native English speakers doing that too, right? So everyone's here to improve their communication skills, to develop their professional development and the personal growth factor. So the other thing Raquel says is being in small groups allows us to be active in discussions and to lose our fear of public speaking, which is a type of social anxiety. And MD is always there to push us and help us if we hesitate or don't know a word or expression. For sure. Marva says, Explearning Academy is very different from any training I've attended so far. Talking in small groups and everyone in the group participating in the conversations increases my self-confidence in speaking English in different social situations. Yes. MD encourages everyone to speak in workshops and discussion sessions. She takes care of everyone individually and takes great care so that everyone benefits. Very nice. Dom says, Explearning Academy is the best enrollment I've done in a training program. Yay. That's amazing. I'm here to improve my professional English skills, executive communication, and social skills. I believe this is a great tool and more people should join. I really enjoy the workshops Mary Daphne delivers in her paid membership. He's referring to the group coaching sessions. I encourage more people to sign up. I clear my schedule to participate in these workshops. Awesome. That's great, Dom. Ashika says, my goals are to become more socially savvy and build emotional intelligence with people. Mary Daphne is an excellent teacher and communicator. Her skills truly rub off on you as she eases you into better habits and makes everyone feel very comfortable as the instructor and facilitator. I'm already experiencing subtle shifts by learning from everyone at MD. The community's international diversity is the perfect practice ground to interact in multicultural settings. I feel comfortable to say things without thinking too much, as long as I put it across with integrity and grace, something that Explearning Academy integrates in its modules. So Ashika is referring to that impromptu speaking, if you noticed, right? She's now able to do that confidently and without like overthinking it or getting, too much in her head. She's able to do that, right? With that confidence and the polish and the integrity. I love that she's those words. That's great. Edwin says the style of interaction in Explearning is cutting edge, incorporating innovative elements of teaching a second language. My speaking skills have improved in my daily interactions, and I have surpassed some typical language barriers. Every day in live discussions, I learn new words, expressions, which I use and discussion items. There you go. Look at that, right? Which I use afterwards in real life settings. My friends, these are all relevant to you. All the strategies, all the things that we share, all the things that we work on, that they're going to be things that you actually do in real life, right? This is real life, obviously, but this is, this is a way to help you learn these skills, right? You can use what we shared in this webinar right after this call. Go and try out the Prep in the Car framework for thinking on your feet. So we've got the Explearning Academy plan, self-study, fully supported journey, lots of fun. You get a discount, 17% discount if you do the full year up front, which is, also great value. This is also incredible value every month. And then we've got the Executive Communication Lab group coaching program. And you get the group coaching plus the community plus the platform. Again, such a steal, such a great price point. We wanted to make it so that, you can't say no. And it's $50 a month. And then you can also do an upfront payment and you get 30% off. That's a 30% discount. So those are some of our discounted rates. And I'll see you inside. So maybe I'll see you this Wednesday. We've got the impromptu speaking, which is really fun. Now you have 2 of the frameworks. I'm going to give you 5 more, and we're going to work on them. We're going to practice. You're going to meet people. You're going to engage with them. You're going to get to practice. You will get to make mistakes, which we want, and we learn from those mistakes, and we grow, and everyone's really welcoming and very lovely in the community. So I hope to see you there. Again, you can sign up by going to academy.explearning.co, and you can DM me in the community if you have any questions. Can't wait to see you. You've got a 1-week free trial. And that's it, my friends. Thanks for joining me. Well done on using this time to invest in yourself, invest in your future. Your future self will thank you. And I'll see you real soon in the community. Bye. Thanks for joining.